Good morning, my Liberal Change family. Kerry Green here again, and today's episode is true confession time. And I'm not going to have you, call me or call somebody else and confess things. I am, first of all, going to start out with a confession of my own. And I'm going to ask you to be honest with yourself and to confess some things to yourself about yourself. Let me start out to set the pattern for what it is I'm asking you to do. I realize as I have gotten more mature in the Lord, as I have grown up in my faith, and just as a human being, I have come to see what many people call limiting beliefs in myself. I see the way that I look at the world in ways that limit possibilities, opportunities. One example, I've built some businesses here and they're doing fairly well, but I tend to think at times that the obstacles I'm facing are too big. And it's kind of funny because they're not really all that big, but it's usually because of the amount of work that's going to go into overcoming that obstacle, the amount of work that would be required, that I feel like it's too big. And see, the funny thing is I would never use the words too big. I would never want to say that because that sounds like I'm being a wimp or like I'm giving up. But pragmatically, the way that I approach the obstacle, I'm in essence saying it's too big because I'm not taking action to overcome it. You see, I'm letting the difficulty, the hard work that's going to be involved in overcoming that obstacle, limit me and cause me to just kind of shrink back. And part of that may be laziness. Part of that may be a lack of belief in the ability God has given me. Part of it may come simply from confusion or lack of knowledge. And I just need to study or learn or get involved, equipping myself to overcome the obstacle. But regardless of where it comes from, the fact is, I limit myself. Now that's just my example that I have fresh on my mind right now. I want to ask you today to stop for a moment and say a quick prayer. You can even hit pause on this recording if you need to ask the Lord to start revealing to you limiting beliefs that you need to overcome. You see, because the reality is, everyone in the world who has accomplished something notable, something significant, something that we all take notice of. You could think of people like Abraham Lincoln or Martin Luther King Jr. or Winston Churchill or Christian heroes of the faith like the Apostle Paul or David. Every person who has done that has done so because they refused to believe the limiting voices in their own heads. I mean, think about David. He was the youngest of all these brothers, all these handsome guys that seemed to be accomplished. He was the baby. He was the little guy in the family. And yet when he stood and heard Goliath mocking God and mocking the people, the armies of Israel, something in him was not content to let that happen unanswered. Something in him rose up, and surely David felt fear. Surely he felt uncertain. But he spoke with confidence because his confidence was in God. He trusted God to do great things for his people because God had promised that he would. And for us, we get stuck in our own mindset. And maybe it comes from a parent or a significant person in your life who forever has told you you can't do something, or you're not smart enough, or you're not talented enough, or whatever. But the problem is we believed those voices, wherever they came from. And when we see an obstacle come up or a challenge arise, we still tell ourselves, I can't. Or I don't know if I can. Maybe that's more how it is. And this is an important question that we ask ourselves. And we're going to revisit this again tomorrow. But for now, I want you to ask yourself and ask the Lord to show you, where are my limiting beliefs? I'm praying for you today. God bless you.